This copyrighted telecast of the Western Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the WAC Digital Network.
Pan American. Coming up next, two teams who know each other quite well as the Wolverines of Utah Valley entertain the Pan American Bronx. 20th meeting between these two arch rivals in the WAC. Coming up next, head-to-head, right here on UVU TV.
It all comes down to this. 14 teams battle their way through the bracket for a chance to punch their ticket to the big dance. Be a part of the madness in Las Vegas, March 11th to 14th. Go all in and witness who goes home a champion at Orleans Arena. The 2015 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. Tickets on sale now at orleansarena.com.
Welcome to the UCCU Center on the campus of Utah Valley University, where tonight the Pan American Bronx are in the house to take on the Wolverines. I'm Jim McCullough, Matt Peterson, two teams, Matt, that have played 20 times. It seems like a lot more than that. You even played against these guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I played a great environment down there at the home of the Bronx, and I think they feel the same way when coming here. And of all the teams in the WAC, I think these two are most familiar because they've played more often than anybody else. So, different coach now from when I played, but the rivalry is still there.
You take a look at the standings, though. It's Utah Valley and Texas Pan American fighting it out for right now 6th and 7th seed. Just a handful of games left, and they're both out of the running. So what's at stake tonight, Matt?
Well, I think what you really try and do here is position yourself for the tournament, and you want to be able to win at home and try and shoot for that seed that you're looking for and try and get that set up. The Wolverines are going to have a couple more home games, and this one and one more. So now's the time to start playing their best basketball.
So for UVU, we always do this. Key players tonight, from your point of view, that need to do some good things for the Wolverines to have a chance.
Yeah, it's been a common theme this year for these two guys, Zach Nelson and Mitch Brunel. They've both had a lot of experience, both at the forward position. They're going to need to elevate their game. That's what we've seen throughout the season. When these two players can elevate their game and play at their best, the team seems to follow. So we'll watch out and see how well those players play from the start, and they're going to have to play well for the full 40 minutes.
Meanwhile, Texas Pan American's got the #1 scorer in the WAC, and Janari Josar. He's got to be a key player.
Yeah, absolutely. He's averaging just over 18 points per game, so he's going to be a tough matchup. Just like Zach, a sophomore plays the forward position, and then you have Shaquille Hines, who averages 12.5 points per game. So, two forward battles here, as we're going to see throughout this night. It's going to be a matchup. Not a nightmare, but it'll be a matchup challenge for the Wolverines and how well they guard these players for the full game.
It might turn out to be a nightmare for a pair of those guys. We'll see.
And it could go either way.
It's
going to be a nightmare for both teams.
All right, keys to victory for the Wolverines.
Yeah, they've got to capitalize on the free throws. We saw a couple nights ago against New Mexico State, the Wolverines were not able to get to the free throw line that often. Hopefully they can buck that trend and get to the line tonight. They've got to limit their turnovers. When they don't turn the ball over, that's when they play their best. Defend the arc. Pan America looks to shoot the three. The Wolverines are going to have to get out to the three-point shooters. And they've got themselves, when they get and force turnovers, they've got to be able to create some fast breaks with a lot of energy and convert those fast breaks. Those and the free throws are easy points and easy baskets. And, in games like this, easy baskets are exactly what you need.
Wolverines and Bronx coming up next. We're going to take a quick break. Starting lineups and then your opening tip. On the flip side of this break, you're watching UVU TV.
At guard, a 6'1" junior from American Fork, Utah, number 2, Marcel Davis. At guard, a 6'4" junior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 3, Dante Williams. At forward, a 6'5" senior from Boise, Idaho, number 15, Mitch Brunel. At forward, a 6'7" sophomore from Yuba City, California, number 21, Zach Nelson. And at forward, a 6'8" freshman from Laverkin, Utah, number 45, Boston Gubler. The Wolverines are led by head coach Dick Hunsaker and assisted by Curtis Condi, Freddie Owens, and Ben Aird.
Utah Valley 9-16 overall. Pan American 9-18 overall. The WAC standings, you saw them before we took that break. Teams are battling for 6th and 7th right now. Pan American has struggled on the road. They're 2-15. They're starting Elijah Watson, Shaquille Boga, Janari Josar, Dan Kamasa, and Shaquille Hines. They're averaging 64 points a game, coached by Dan Hipsher in his 2nd season with Pan American. Utah Valley coming off a very difficult loss, Matt, Thursday against New Mexico State on this floor. Question is, how can they rebound?
Well, you know, you don't have much time to dwell on it because the very next day of practice, you do a little bit of review of that game, and then you're on to the Bronx here. So, you know, they've already played. That aids in the process. You can take a lot of, you know, learn a lot from what you've already, you know, learned when you played them a little bit earlier in the season. So, not a lot of time to dwell on the last loss, and here we are again, tipping the ball up.
UVU beat Pan Am down in Edinburgh on January 22nd by 18 points. Wolverines control the opening tip. We're underway here at the UCCU Center in Orem, Utah.
And that should give a lot of confidence, Jim, because you go down there on the road, you beat them, now you're coming home. The key is not relaxing and thinking that it's in the bag just because you have them at home.
Marcel Davis misses the 3 for UVU. Pan American with their first possession. Now at their place, it was one of those games in the first half, back and forth till about midway through, and then UVU went on a huge run, 19-2 to put the game away. So far, both teams 0 for 1.
That was a great defensive possession. We saw Thursday night they played a lot of zone. They're starting this game man-to-man defense. Great way to start it.
Gubler way up top, looks for help. 10-second shot clock. Dante wide open, bottom.
And that's a great start for Dante. We saw him struggle shooting the ball on Thursday night. Great down screen there set from Zach. Dante wide open. That's exactly what he needs, and what the Wolverines need is to him get off to a good start.
Dante had a pretty decent game down at their place. Game high 23 points in that first matchup. Watson looking around, gives it over to Bowden. They're under 10 seconds. Desperation shot at the buzzer won't go. Gubler with the rebound for UVU. Janari Josar had a career high against UVU. Zach Nelson misses the 3 there. And I'm just wondering if maybe Texas Pan American looking for Josar a little too much. Jumper outside by aforementioned Janari Josar. Pan American will control.
I think the game plan is going to be centered around him. Seen Mitch on him now. Zach's been on him, so they're going to be cognizant of where he is at all times.
Long 2. Shaquille Hines. Zach Nelson. Position off to teammate Brunel, who misses inside. Boga. Whoa, got the left hand to go on the right side.
Yeah, very nice finish there from Boga with the left hand. Not very good job of getting back in transition and setting their transition defense, and Boga with an easy lane to the rim.
Marcel Davis, bottom. Wolverines have hit 2 3-pointers. They lead it by 2. Off the glass, Shaquille Hines.
Jim, when you look at the scoring for the Bronx, Janari Josar, 18 points, Shaquille Hines, 12.5 points, Shaquille Boga, 12.2 points. You know, it's kind of a three-headed monster. Those guys are going to be the driving force, and they've been aggressive and had a lot of opportunities and chances so far. The offense runs through those 3.
Nelson thought about the 3 up top. Instead gives it over to Davis. He'll penetrate, lost the handle, on the floor. Held ball, jump ball. That'll bring us to our first time out. 6-6 the score. We told you these two have played a lot, 20 times. They know each other quite well.
You are watching UVU TV.
So far, Matt Peterson, between these two teams, 11 shots, and 6 of them have been 3-point attempts.
Yeah. So far, nothing really working inside for either team. Both teams feeling pretty confident from the perimeter. A couple jump shots from the Bronx, a couple threes from the Wolverines. And I think that'll work more in UVU's favor than it will in the Bronx favor, because if there's one thing that's really held the Wolverines back this season, it's been that outside, that three-point shot. You know, on the year, they're UVU on the season is 29% from the three-point line, and when we've seen their offense struggle, it's because of that outside shot not falling. What were they on Thursday? They were 1 for 15 or 16 or 17, something like that, and the looks are there, and so it's a great sign so far to see them hit the couple that they've taken.
Yeah, they were 1 for 16. They've already hit 2 here in this game. Played 4.5 minutes. Shaquille Hines back over to Boga, or to Watson rather. Inside, slapped away momentarily. Good ball movement. Josar outside can't get it down. Wolverines track down the loose ball.
A couple really good possessions, Jim. Working the shot clock down. That's so hard to play defense like that for 35 seconds, and that time Josar with a long three. So terrific possessions here defensively so far.
Zach Nelson in trouble, still gets it up and in though.
Yeah, I just mentioned how the outside shot works in UVU's favor probably a little bit more than it does in the Bronx favor, but those baskets inside are great for Zach, and they can couple the three-point shooting with those easy baskets. That's when their offense really hums along. It's just been the consistency that we haven't seen throughout the season.
3 different Wolverines have scored. 2 Bronx have scored. Right-handed jump hook won't go for Watson. Wolverines back the other way.
Yeah, really good one-on-one defense there from Dante, too. He didn't foul. He was getting back down. He did a great job of keeping his hands straight up, making Boga go over the top of him.
Brendan Evans over to Marcel Davis. Bottom. 5 straight points by the Wolverines. And they lead it by 5. Marcel 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Pan American 0 for 3 as a team. Inside, Kamasa scores and gets the and one.
I think
basket will count. Dante Williams foul.
I was going to say, Jim, there was a switch at some point. You see Zach outside on Joe Sarr and Mitch inside, just not able to get around the front. Nice pass inside. So Mitch not fronting, getting all the way around, and there was the late rotation that came over. Usually bad things happen when you get beat on the entry pass. We're going to get a stoppage here. They're just going to adjust the shot clock, I believe, but Mitch not getting around, late rotation, that ball right at the basket.
Alex Carr makes his first appearance of the night. Mitch Brunel takes a seat.
Yeah, I think Mitch is going to get some breaks tonight because his offense is going to be needed. We talked about him being one of the key players, but so far he's taken the lion's share of the responsibility for guarding Janari Josar. So you might see him get a lot of work in and then come out for some breaks as you get turnover here from Alex Carr. But I think you'll probably see Alex match up now on Janari Josar.
When you talk about minutes played, Josar leads the WAC in minutes played. He averages 35 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Averages. He played all 40 against UVU.
Well, and if you watch him, this why Mitch, I said, is going to probably be out, is look how often Josar comes off of screens, how often he comes off of, picks on the ball. He's moving constantly.
Shaquille Hines misses. Dante Williams with the rebound for UVU.
Now the Bronx here, Jim, switched to a 2-3 zone.
Well, the Wolverines have hit 3 out of 5 from long range. Trying to counteract that, I'm assuming. Alex Carr for 3. Ball saved from going out of bounds. Nice play by Shaquille Hines to keep the ball alive for the Bronx.
You just watch how many screens are being set for Josar. See him coming off of a lot of screens, double screens, down screens. And they're trying to get him set, so puts a lot of pressure on the initial defender, but on the help defense too.
Good ball movement. Hines buries the jumper.
Yeah, that was great defense from Brendan. He did a nice job of coming over and stopping the initial pass inside to Dan Kamasa. There was just some really good extra passes, and I think you'll live with that if you're Coach Hunsaker, even though he knocked down the jump shot, but the rotations were right.
Marcel Davis misses but gets his own rebound. Dante for 3. Bottom. Dante Williams, just 4 points Thursday night against New Mexico State, and I think he's thought about that for about 48 hours. And was just waiting to get his hands on the ball tonight.
Yeah, and you can tell he's much more prepared tonight as you get another drive there from Shaquille Boga. But yeah, Dante's doing a nice job of focusing on offense and knocking down the shots when they're there.
I'm told that Texas Pan American is the only team in Division I basketball out of 351 teams that actually starts 2 guys named Shaquille.
Yeah.
Boga and Hines. Bottom. Oh, no, just a long 2. Yeah. Sorry. It couldn't be much longer than a 2.
Well, and you know, Jim, the Wolverines right now on offense are playing with a ton of confidence. You know, their shots are, you know, it looks like when they're shooting that, they know that the ball's going in, and the ball is going in, and that's great to see.
6 out of 11. Meanwhile, Josar finally on the scoreboard with his long 3.
Yeah, and there again, Josar coming off of screens. You know, you've got to be well aware. You've got to have help defense from the guys that you're guarding that are setting the screens, as well as the guy that's chasing. You got to be on time, or otherwise he's going to knock down threes like that.
Marcel Davis draws the foul. No, they're going to call him for traveling first. 10:06 to play. Brings us to immediate timeout. Wolverines nursing a 1-point lead here in Orem.
People talk about life after college, you know, entering the real world. But this is engaged learning. I'm not just reading about it or watching someone else do it. I'm learning by doing. I'm at UVU. I'm in the real world every day.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity,
on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Played almost half of our first half. And what I'm liking, Matt, is only 1 foul called in this game thus far. And I know, knock on wood, please, yeah. But I like it when they let them play.
Yeah, it has been a pretty clean game. I think the Wolverines playing man. You know, they haven't fouled. They've done a nice job of being in good position. Texas Pan America played a little bit of man, played a little bit of zone. But, yeah, you're right. It's a lot more fun to watch. I think the players can get in a little bit more of a rhythm. And, you know, the officials can set the game early as far as what they're going to let go and what not. And it's just been good to see so far. I mean, it's been an offensive battle by what standards we're used to seeing when these two teams play.
Pan American makes their first substitution of the game. Andreas Bigham into the game for Josar, after we bragged about the fact Josar played all 40 minutes against UVU in their first meeting. Goes to the bench.
Well, and you know, UVU, you mentioned it, Jim, 72 points is what they scored at Pan America. So I think when they play this team, they've got some things that they feel work, and you're going to get an illegal moving screen here on Andres Bigham.
He checks into the game, commits a foul, and comes right back out.
You know, that's what you have a lot of times when you run an offense where your bigs are involved with setting screens. It has to be perfectly timed. Bigs are setting a lot of screens, then oftentimes you see them get called for legal screens. And what Pan America does is they set a lot of screens. Not necessarily, well, some of the screens they've been setting are on the blocks, but a lot of them are out, you know, near the three-point line.
Yeah,
trying to get the screen set up there. That's exactly what happened to Bigham on that possession.
Jaden Jackson into the game for the Wolverines of Utah Valley. Osborne is the one that replaced Josar. Kamasa came back in for Bigham after that foul. Brunel cut off on his drive. Stolen away by Pan American. Dante Williams returns the favor. Jaden Jackson for 3. Brunel kept it alive. It'll be UVU basketball.
And Dante with a nice play in transition there as the Bronx were trying to go the other way. I watched him that whole possession. Lucky he came up with that because Bronx had a player going the other way that was wide open, but he comes up with a steal. And against the zone, Jim, second chance points, second chance opportunities, maybe it's off of an offensive rebound or a turnover or big, just like this. Another chance here on the offensive board.
Brunel missed the three. Brendan Evans kept it alive. Dante Williams for three. This time Pan American brings it back the other way. Boga. Jumper outside for Osborne. Pan American just struggling outside. 7 of 15. First half moving right along. Coming up on 8 minutes left. Wolverines have that one slapped out of bounds.
This zone that UVU is going against is a lot better suited for them than the zone that New Mexico State ran just a couple nights ago. That was that 4-out, 1-in zone that we talked about. This is more of the traditional 2 up top, 3 on the bottom. I think it fits what UVU wants to do, at least how they attack it offensively, and that's why they've had a little bit more success.
Marcel has it slapped away. He tries to recover. Big scramble for the fumble. Coming back the other way. Nice play from Elijah Watson. 5 straight points from Pan American. They're back out in front. Rebound coming down to Kamasa. Dan Kamasa, 6'9", freshman from Rwanda. Foul on this drive. Going to go against the Wolverines of Utah Valley. I think Jaden Jackson is going to be called for the foul. It'll bring us to another immediate timeout. 7:46 left here in the first half. Wolverines of Utah Valley down by 1 to the Bronx.
You are watching UVU TV.
I had an idea. Lots of people have ideas. But engaged learning helped me develop my idea and make it real. And now with sales over $1 million, best assignment ever.
Good sportsmanship isn't defined by a scoreboard.
It isn't defined by how high you jump or how fast you can run.
Good sportsmanship is all about character.
It is about doing your best for your coaches and teammates.
It is about having respect for your opponents, the officials, and the fans.
Good sportsmanship is winning with class and losing with dignity.
It's fair play, perseverance, and team spirit.
Good sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Pan American already with 3 steals in this first half. UVU with just 1. 5 turnovers for Utah Valley already versus 2 for Pan American.
Yeah, and that really hurt UVU on Thursday night against New Mexico State is the turnovers that UVU had turned into points. You know, one thought that I had, Jim, during the break is the tendency when you play against a 2-3 zone and you're an offense is kind of what it's designed to do is to get you staying out on the perimeter, and the tendency at sometimes is to take the easy shots, so to speak. And a lot of times they're great shots when you have wide open threes and whatnot, but so far of the Wolverines' 16 points, only 2 of them have been in the paint, and it was that jump shot from Zach in the middle. One thing I hope that the Wolverines don't rely on is those open 3-point shots. We said they started out really well shooting tonight. This season, that's been their point of struggle. They've cooled off to be 4 of 11 now. It's my hope that they don't rely and just take those long, easy 3-point shots. The zone is open inside to pound it inside to get easy points there too.
Watson just a 50% free throw shooter on a team that averages 68%. Missed them both. So that second team foul against UVU called against Jaden Jackson didn't cost the Wolverines any points.
Jump shots are fine as long as you're making them. They started out making them. Just like that, nice tip out there from Leon, but You don't want to rely on the three. You want to get that inside game going first and then build it out to the three.
Marcel Davis hanging jumper is good. UVU back out in front. Davis already with 8 points. Just had 6 on Thursday night against New Mexico State. Came in here averaging 8.5 points a game.
Yeah, he's been able to break down the perimeter defense and get inside a lot easier tonight than what he did on Thursday, and we documented that a lot in that game. Nice defense there from Mitch. Very active with his hands and feet.
Watson finishes off a nice drive. It's like every basket is a lead change. 6 lead changes already. Wolverines working around the perimeter. Marcel Davis bounced it into what he thought was going to be Dayon Goodman, but Dayon was tied up, couldn't get to it. Turnover. Josar in traffic, slapped away. Pan American controlling. Boga for 3. Rattles around, drops through good. 22-18. Pan American's biggest lead of the night. UVU is led by as many as 5. Back when it was 11-6. Brunel drives the baseline, draws the foul.
And that's really good action there because the ball's around the perimeter, and Dayon did a nice job of getting it, not letting it stick in his hand. He could have turned, looks like when you see him get that ball, he could have turned and just shot that, but passed it off to Mitch in the corner, and the drive and aggressiveness there. These are the first free throws for UVU, right? That was one of our keys to the game, is getting to the free throw line. The zone defense aimed at preventing those easy free throws, but about 15 minutes of play without UVU attempting a free throw.
Brunel hits the first one. First foul against Shaquille Hines, second team foul against Pan American. Both teams whistle for 2. Again, a pretty clean 14.5 minutes. I know we're jinxing that by saying that.
Well, I think it's been the right calls all the way around. I mean, it's just hasn't been a lot of fouling. It's a lot of it's jump shooting from the perimeter, but been a good game.
Josar has it blocked. Thought he drew some contact. No foul called. Instead, Zach Nelson was right place, right time for the block.
Yeah, I mean, the Wolverines are doing a terrific job of stopping Josar. I mean, he only has 3 points so far.
Frustrated.
Yeah, he's really frustrated because the Wolverines are doing a lot of switching out to him when there's certain double screens. Zach has been on him a couple times, but Mitch has been the majority on him, and he's done a great job of his on-ball defense.
Josar on the bench again. 3. Dante won't go. Mitch follow will not go. Pan American on the run. Watson. 5 minutes left here in the first half. Another low-scoring game between these two. Last year was 45-42. UVU winning by 3 on this floor. Looks like we might be in the 40s again tonight. Boga with 5 seconds. Osborne. Blocking foul on Mitch Brunel.
I thought they might have called an offensive foul there, but see Mitch go flying on the drive here. Good call looking at it. Mitch went flying there off of that.
Did.
Just ran into the shoulders. Just one of those combination of you get hit right when you're off balance.
First foul against Brunel, 3rd team foul. Fresh shot clock for Pan American to work with. Three? No. Marcel Davis with a rebound. Davis for 3. Pan American had the numbers. Collision, charge.
That's exactly how you play defense when you're one-on-one, and how to take a charge. Really nice job, Marcel, sprinting back, planted his feet, took that one right in the chops.
Josar checks back in. Zach Nelson goes to the bench, replaced by Jaden Jackson for UVU. Marcel Davis, Jaden Jackson, Mitch Brunel, Dante Williams, and Deion Goodman on the floor right now. Watson, Boga, Josar, Massa, and Hines for Pan American. Davis, little floater in the lane, goes.
Yeah, that's a really nice play. And he's carried the offense here, 10 points from Marcel. That's when he's in his best. He's hit a couple threes, but he's really at his best when he can be moving and in the paint.
Ties this thing up at 22. Hines misses from outside, and a foul on the rebound. Going to go against Kamasa.
Great job of, you see the long jump here. Watch Dante battling inside. Perfect job of leveraging his lower body, getting the inside position. Nice job of rebounding.
First foul against Kamasa, fourth team foul. Wolverines tied up with the Bronx right now. Wolverines of Utah Valley have only hit 2 of their last 10 shots. Pan Americans hit 3 of their last 5, though, but it's the three-point shooting right now. Both teams are launching them, that's for sure.
Yeah, Wolverines 4 of 14, Pan American 2 of 6. Go look at the points in the paint, and Pan Am 10 of their 22 have been inside. UVU 4 of their 22 have been inside. So, as I've said so often, I think a lot of these games are just going to come down to who can make the shot. And Wolverines started out the game hot, kind of cooled off here a little bit, but love to see them get the ball inside a little bit more.
Deion Goodman drives in, draws the foul.
Right on cue, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's awesome to see. You've got a ton of space inside. It's awesome to see Deion get that ball and look to attack. Or mentioned a few possessions ago, he got it and looked to immediately pass, but got to have a presence inside. That will collapse the defense, and good job of Deion going strong.
Deion Goodman, a redshirt freshman from Salt Lake City, Utah. Gives the Wolverines a 1-point lead.
He has a lot of athleticism too. He's long, he can jump. So we'll see him when he's in there. He's going to be working that paint area, maybe get down a little bit into the short corner, but he's going to be in the paint looking for flashes, and then he can look to score or he can look to pass when he gets the ball.
6 straight points from the Wolverines. They're back out in front by 2. Last time Pan American scored was at the 6:08 mark. Scoreless since then. Boga. Jaden Jackson pulls down the rebound.
There's a foul.
High post feed to Deion Goodman, and Pan American hit him on the arm. 6th team foul against Pan American.
Yeah, that's right where Deion's going to work, right at the high post line. You see, I think it was Mitch in the opposite corner. You had Jaden in this corner and Marcel and Dante up top. So that ball, if it can make its way to the high post or deeper, then be in good shape.
2nd foul against Kamasa. Kamasa and Hines now with 2 fouls each for Pan American. We were bragging about how well these two teams had played without many fouls. Now all of a sudden, what's going on?
They're going to look at something. I heard the officials say, cue it up for me. So
trying to see who it was that committed the foul.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know if they were.
I don't see Kamasa in there at all. Why was the foul on Kamasa? It was Watson.
I see the official now pointing at number 1, right? That's who it was called on, was Watson. So I think you're right. They were just looking to see who the foul was on. They got it right.
Well, that's good news for Pan American because Kamasa with 2, not good news. Kamasa played a heck of a game Thursday against New Mexico State. Got injured, I understand, down the stretch. Or against Grand Canyon, rather, in Phoenix. 2.5 minutes left here in this first half. Very low-scoring game. Brunel for 3, bottom.
I was looking at the statistics, Jim. Mitch Brunel on the year shoots 52% from the field and 31% from 3. So he hasn't attempted a lot of threes, but he's a great shooter from the field. And I thought to myself before the game, I wish he would shoot a little bit more from the outside. And if you get results like that, it's exactly what they need. You see a lot of his baskets inside in the paint on offensive boards and whatnot, but Mitch can stretch the floor and maybe needs to be a little bit more aggressive on the outside jumpers.
Brunel 5 points tonight. It's Marcel Davis with almost half of Utah, or a third of Utah Valley's points. He's got 10. Dante Williams with 6. Brunel 5. 2 each for Deion Goodman, Brendan Evans, Zach Nelson. Pan American leading scorer is Boga tonight with 7. Watson's got 4. Josar, leading scorer in the WAC, coming in here at 18.2 a game right now, just 3 points. Kamasa's got 2. Hines has got 6. So they're doing a good job shutting down Josar, that's for sure.
They are. And, I mentioned there's one thing I learned when playing for Coach Hunsaker is, it's pounded into your head who the best player is and who the top threat is on offense. Now, it's not as if you just forget about the rest of the guys, and it's so amazing how many times we've seen that throughout the year. The Wolverines can shut down the main scorer, and then someone else steps up. So far it's been Shaquille Boga, but you'll take shutting down the leading scorer in the WAC, holding him to just 3 points so far. They've done a great job, not just one guy, but total team effort.
Boga drives in and draws the foul from Deion Goodman.
Yeah, they called this on Deion. Coach Hunsaker's had his hands up wondering where the foul was. I was thinking the same thing, as we'll get a replay of it. You see, this was one of the previous possessions with the 3 from Dante that he made. But I thought Deion did a great job of rotating over and getting his hand on top of the ball. I didn't see much contact from Deion. He's played a lot of minutes tonight, Jim. It's not something that we're used to. I think he's earned the minutes because he's played well when he's been in there.
Yeah, Deion just averaging 1.5 points this season. Averaged 17 points a game in high school up at Kearns High School. Well, he gets about 6 minutes a game in a game this season, average. That free throw, the first points since 6:08. 4.5 minutes, scoreless for Pan American. Jaden Jackson, bottom.
And we hope we see him get into a rhythm, because we know that he can shoot. He's going to be and can be a big threat coming off of the bench, and he can stretch the defense. Deep 3 there.
He was the state scoring champion in the state of Utah as a junior in high school. Jackson, a junior transfer from Salt Lake Community College. His first 3 points tonight. Under a minute left here in this first half. Deion reaches in and fouls Boga. For Deion, it's going to be foul number 2, team foul 5.
You know, there's a lot of switching going on out there. A lot of switching onto Janari Josar. You know, it's not normal for Dayon to be guarding Shaquille Boga at the top of the key 3-point line. He did a good job initially of stopping it, just got called for the reach at the last second.
Boga tried to stop in the lane, couldn't quite do it.
You know, Boga's a driver too, Jim, on the season. He's taken 122 threes, but from what we've seen tonight, he seems more comfortable when he can drive, try and get in the paint, look to dish off from there. So for the most part, UVU's done a nice job of not allowing him to do that.
Jackson tries to feed inside to Brunel, slapped away, turnover. UVU's 7th turnover here in the first half. Shot clock, game clock almost identical. Josar fouled by Brunel as he went up from right to left. Brunel's 2nd foul. Janari Josar at the free throw line. Josar only 3 points tonight. He's only put up 3 shots. All 3 of them were 3-pointers. Made one of them. Free throw's good.
Yeah, sorry. He's got a good-looking shot. I mean, on the season, 313 field goal attempts. He shoots 48% from the field. 145 threes at 39%. And he's an 81% free throw shooter. And you see his shot and release. He's got a nice touch, so he can shoot it from anywhere on the court.
Well, especially from the free throw line. He's number 22 in the nation in number of made free throws. He's now made 138 of them this season.
Yeah, so it's a good job from UVU keeping him off the free throw line so far as well.
7 seconds. Jumper outside. Jaden Jackson, bottom. That's how we'll send him to the locker room. Jaden Jackson hits the last 6 points of the first half for the Wolverines. 33-25 at halftime. We'll talk about it during our halftime show, stats analysis, and some other surprises for you. The Wolverines of Utah Valley on top of Texas Pan American at halftime by 8 points.
You are watching UVU TV.
It all comes down to this. 14 teams battle their way through the bracket for a chance to punch their ticket to the big dance. Be a part of the madness in Las Vegas, March 11th to 14th. Go all in and witness who goes home a champion at Orleans Arena. The 2015 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. Tickets on sale now at OrleansArena.com.
You are watching UVU TV.
Back at the UCCU Center in Orem, Utah, Jim McCullough along with Matt Peterson. Saw a pretty entertaining first half there, Matt. Low scoring, but pretty entertaining. UVU leading 33-25. Analysis from you, my friend.
Well, I'll start with what I thought from the Wolverines on the defensive end. I thought that their man-to-man defense was very effective. I think they did a nice job, as see some of the statistics here, keeping the Bronx off the free throw line, only allowing 7 free throws when you go in a man-to-man defense is pretty good. Giving up 10 of 22 from the field, 7 3-point attempts, 7 free throws, and I think that when you look at the top 3 scorers, we talked about them coming in. Janari Josar, averages 18 on the year. He had 5 in the first half. Shaquille Hines, 12.5. He had 6 points, so he's about on his average. And Shaquille Boga was really the story offensively. 8 points for the Bronx. He averages 12 points. So I think the Wolverines will take that. The 2 Shaquilles are going to, on pace so far. But I think the real threat is Janari Josar, and if they can keep him in check, they can get a lead and add to it like they did in the first half.
UVU, 17 three-point attempts in that first half, made 7 of them. But when they went inside, they did pretty well.
Yeah. Well, they started hot from the three-point line, which we love to see. They finished the half hot from the three-point line. And it was good to see Jaden Jackson hit a couple three-point shots. But, yeah, I mean, when they go inside, they did only have 4 points in the paint in the first half. But, they at least made a good attempt to get the ball inside. Dayon, Zach, Boston had the ball inside a couple of times. So, against the zone, I'm making it sound a lot easier than what it really is to score inside, because that's what the zone is designed to prevent. But see Marcel get inside. When he gets in the paint, when Zach can get the ball in the paint, that's when they're most effective. And I thought for the most part they did on offense. They did a great job of running their sets. They did a nice job of being patient. They did have 7 turnovers. That's one thing that, an area that you can say that the Wolverines could improve upon. But I always love looking at assist field goal ratio. Wolverine with 11 field goals made, 8 of them have been assisted. So against the zone, nice job of moving the ball, nice job of passing it. Maybe at times a little bit too unselfish, but they've done well. I like what I've seen so far.
And in a turnabout, UVU outscored Pan Am's bench 10-0.
Yeah.
Many times this season we have seen UVU's bench, quite frankly, go scoreless for the whole game.
Yeah, it's a needed component of every team. I mean, you have to have you're not going to be able to play your starters the entire game, obviously. So if you can get the bench guys to come in and to play with the same energy and emotion that the starters start with, and they've done a terrific job of that. As you said, 10 points. That's Jaden Jackson with 5, Brennan with 2, and Dayon with 2, I think, are the 10 points there. So we got to have that trend continue, and in tonight's game and the rest of the season.
UVU leads at halftime, 33-25. We'll take another break. Halftime show continues here from Orem, Utah, as Pan American and Utah Valley continue to battle it out for 5th and 6th place, maybe even as high as 3rd.
Welcome to Utah Valley University, home of the mighty Wolverines and about 30,000 students. UVU is located in Utah County, near the base of the majestic Mount Timpanogos. Not only is the campus beautiful and extensive, but it's friendly too. Students come to UVU for many reasons. Some like the environment and local culture, while others appreciate the one-on-one support and small class sizes. Whatever the reason, one thing is certain: UVU provides an experience students can't get anywhere else.
I came here from out of state, from Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's different from home, but I love being here. The environment at UVU is very welcoming, very friendly. I just love being here. It's, I just feel like I fit here perfectly.
As an open admission institution, UVU's structured enrollment policies put students on a path to success. With a unique dual mission, UVU is a vibrant teaching university with accessible community college programs. The university provides a broad spectrum of degrees, from certificate and diploma programs to associate, bachelor, and high-demand master degrees. Active outreach efforts foster local partnerships that benefit both the community and students. At UVU, students are immersed in the academic and practical sides of industry, while unique programs integrate teaching and service learning, giving students a rigorous and well-rounded education. UVU is home to the acclaimed Small Business Development Center and Manufacturing Extension Partnership. With these resources and more, UVU makes a significant impact both economically and intellectually. UVU is known for its ability to connect classroom experiences with professional and civic pursuits. This means students use the theories and foundations taught in the classroom and apply them in real-life situations. Whether a student is an automotive or biotechnology major, by the time they graduate, they'll not only have a degree, but a substantial resume as well. UVU continues to grow and evolve as a world-class student-centered institution focused on engaged learning. From personal financial planning to emergency services, UVU has some of the top programs in the state and nation that prepare our students to enter the workforce.
The exact same software that I use at work every day, we use inside the classroom. And the first day on the job, I was able to complete any task that I was given. And I can accredit that to my professors.
We have actually one of the nation's largest software libraries. The main benefit that we find for the students is that they can go out with a really usable skill and actually make an immediate impact in the career or the job of their choice.
Engaged learning at UVU is really significant because working with the staff and also the students, I've had multiple opportunities to go outside of school and go and work on real sets where I got to experience everything firsthand. It's fun to learn the stuff from the books and learn it from the teachers in the classroom, but it's even better when you can get to go out there and experience it for yourself.
Because of this engaged learning model, UVU students have the opportunity to develop strong connections with outstanding faculty and staff. UVU faculty are scholars and professionals in their fields. They are dedicated to sharing their expertise with students and helping them succeed. UVU's expert faculty expect excellence from themselves and their students as they lead the way to academic achievement. The School of the Arts is home to Juilliard-trained faculty and has won several prestigious National Theater Awards at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. UVU's success spans disciplines with the College of Science and Health receiving major grants funding scholarships, and the School of Aviation celebrating its founding more than a quarter century ago. As a Fulbright pipeline, UVU is also bringing international expertise into the classroom and helping students rise to new levels of excellence. In addition to outstanding faculty, UVU recognizes the need to focus on the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM. Qualified graduates are in high demand in these fields, and in conjunction with a statewide initiative, UVU is stepping up to the plate, preparing students to meet the needs of the community and workforce.
I actually didn't know you could do research as an undergraduate until about 6 months ago, and it kind of blew my mind. And it really gives you a different experience, as opposed to the teacher-student in a classic classroom where you're doing a lecture. You really feel like you're part of the research, and you feel like you're a colleague, and you know that when you're done, this isn't just something that's a class project. It's not just a presentation or a PowerPoint or a report. This is something that is actual research that if you put it on your Vita or your resume and you present this to people, this is going to help people in the future. And so it's just the opportunity to do more.
With the help of supportive faculty, UVU students continue to claim top honors across disciplines as they apply new skills and practice their craft. Mechatronics students from the College of Technology and Computing Science brought home national medals, and digital media students received an Oscar nomination for a student animated film. UVU is also home to Utah's only 4-year biotechnology program, as well as the state's first 4-year geomatics degree. UVU's interconnected campus and new facilities such as the Science Building and the Student Life and Wellness Center support students in their educational pursuits.
I walk through the halls and I see President Holland, and he stops and shakes your hand and wants to know how you're doing, and you can tell that the people genuinely care. I don't think there has been a day on campus where I haven't walked through the halls and somebody hasn't handed me a flyer that says, there's an activity going on today and tomorrow and the next day, come to it. And there's activities in the courtyard. There's been movie nights, there's been True Wolverine, there's been soccer games, dances, and every single activity that I go to, you can just feel that people are excited to be there, and people love the college lifestyle and the lifestyle of UVU.
Thanks to the foresight of university leaders, strategic expansion on campus will add more than 425,000 square feet of elbow room to accommodate expected growth and better serve our students. The new classroom building added a much-needed 34 additional classrooms and a 1,000-seat auditorium. With the expansion of the We Care Center, student parents will receive even more support as they work to complete their degrees while balancing family life. The new Student Life and Wellness Building, complete with a reflection center and fitness facilities, provides students with 170,000 square feet for body, mind, and spirit. A university experience would not be the same without the excitement of top-notch athletics. UVU competes in the WAC and is already winning championships. With the addition of an NCAA Division I men's soccer team, the only one in the state, and a coach with Real Salt Lake roots, UVU is poised for success. Beginning a new college experience is exciting, but it can also be an adjustment. At UVU, programs like orientation, freshman convocation, and the freshman reading program make sure students get the best start possible. There's also an abundance of campus life and activities to help students get involved and feel at home.
You feel like you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And the environment here is something that if you're willing to try and you're willing to put yourself out there to make friends, you're going to become part of that UVU environment that's something bigger than yourself. And I know I've said a lot, but I love UVU and I love the environment that's here.
As Utah Valley University continues to grow as a student-centered institution and rise to new levels of excellence, students become part of a supportive university community committed to enriching lives and preparing students for success. With even more new programs, resources, and facilities slated for the near future, UVU is an institution on the rise.
You are watching UVU TV.
People talk about college like you're in some kind of bubble. Like there's college and then there's the real world. Hey, this is UVU. You're not just reading about it or watching someone else do it. This is engaged learning. At the certificate, associate's, bachelor's, or master's level, you're in the real world every day.
Good sportsmanship isn't defined by a scoreboard.
It isn't defined by how high you jump or how fast you can run.
Good sportsmanship is all about character.
It is about doing your best for your coaches and teammates.
It is about having respect for your opponents, the officials, and the fans.
Good sportsmanship is winning with class and losing with dignity.
It's fair play, perseverance, and team spirit.
Good sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
About ready to start our second half here at the UCCU Center. Utah Valley leading Texas Pan American 33-25. This is the 20th game between these two. UVU with a commanding lead in the series, 16-3. They've won the last 5 straight. In fact, it's been 2 years since Pan American has won a game against UVU. They're back on January 19th of 2013. In fact, this is going to be the last time these two teams ever play, Matt, because Texas Pan American changing their name next year.
Quite an interesting story you were telling me about. I wasn't aware. So.
Yeah, they're now going to be, I think during the summer, there's the official changeover. They're going to be called University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, RGV, and their nickname will be the Vaqueros. I need to find out what the heck a vaquero is. Nelson misses the opening shot for UVU here in the second half.
Did you say it was a bandit of some sort?
Somebody mentioned to me it was some sort of a bandit. Somebody else said it was a rodent. I'm not sure. I'm going with bandit.
Knows, right?
I'm going with bandit.
Let's hope it's a bandit.
Well, I don't know, but yeah, let's hope it's a bandit. Wow, nice shot from Kamasa.
He's been pretty quiet inside. That's his 4th points. 3rd and 4th points there. I think it's an added bonus for Pan Am and the Bronx if they can get him going. Wolverines starting off this half, Jim, trying to get Zach really involved. Previous possession was an ISO. That time trying to get him coming off the baseline for an open look.
Dante Williams, shooter's bounce that time. He's got 8 points.
There was a breakdown, Jim. Janari Josar got way too much space there. I think it was Zach that sucked off of it and came off just a little bit and gave Josar the open look. Got to be ready for him in the second half. You know that he's going to come and be aggressive. Wants to get his points.
Marcel Davis misses outside. Bronx on the run, 3-on-2. The dish slapped away out of bounds by Brunil.
Good hustle there from Mitch.
Our producer, Dallin Van Blorkum, tells me, by the way, a vaquero is a Spanish word for a cowboy. Sounds much better than rodent.
It does. Good to know that. It's nice to have people tell you things in your ear, isn't it?
Oh yeah, how do you spell it? Jumper for 3. Wow. Nari Josar's first 3. Or excuse me, his 4th 3. Now they corrected his 3 out of 5. He's got 11 points. Let's put it that way.
You know, from the Bronx perspective, he's come out. This is exactly how you want to start the second half. You get your best player going, you fight your way back into it. UVU's slipped a little bit on defense on him the last couple of possessions. Nice up and under move there from Zach. Just as Josar's trying to get those attempts to start the second half, here Zach's getting those attempts. Easy basket there. Zach with the skilled move with easy layup.
Zach with just 4 points tonight. Wolverines come up with a turnover. Dante feeds over trailing Brunil. Missed it. Blocking foul inside against Elijah Watson. His second personal. First foul in the second half on either team.
Yeah, Mitch is limping a little bit, but you see Dante doing a nice job pushing the action and dishing off, and you see the right knee of Watson collided with the left knee with Mitch's left knee. I think that's why he's limping and favoring that knee a little bit.
Senior from Boise drills the first one.
Yeah, and he did a nice job of starting that. Didn't quite see if he was fronting, but he jumped up one hand, stole that ball, gets rewarded at the other end.
This is the second one. UVU's lead stays at 5. They've led by as many as 8. And American has led by as many as 4 in this game.
Yeah, Joe Sars, go back to what we said in the first half. There's going to be a double dribble carry.
Turnover Wolverines, their 8th. Three minutes deep here into our second half. Wolverines led at halftime 33-25. Zach Nelson doing a good job to maintain possession that time. Coach Dick Hunsaker calls a timeout. 38-33. Utah Valley by 5. UVU just 3 games left after tonight. They're on the road twice next week. We'll talk more about that when we get back from this break.
You are watching UVU TV.
Utah Valley with a 5-point lead. Just before the break, I mentioned they're on the road next week for 2 games at Kansas City Thursday, and then a week from tonight at Chicago State. Both of those places have proven very tough for the Wolverines to play this year. And then 2 weeks from tonight, the final game of the regular season for the Wolverines, hosting Bakersfield here on this floor. So just 3 games left for the Wolverines this year.
Imagine, Jim, if the Wolverines are able to pick this win up, go on the road and get 2 confidence-building wins, and then you come home for the final game. That's obviously how you draw it up and picture perfect, but Wolverines have to worry about this one first.
If the Wolverines did that, they'd be in the battle for the number 2 or even number 3 seed in the WAC tournament. But got to take care of business here tonight. Brendan Evans in a little trouble, kicks it way outside to Dante. It's getting a little sloppy there.
Yeah, I think that's why Coach called the timeout. Offense kind of slowed down. There's a nice pass from Marcel and a really nice finish from Zach. A lot of contact there. Zach did a nice job of shielding it with his body and finished with the left.
Marcel Davis, number 1 in the WAC. Assists per game, 4.3 coming in here. Pan American inside, nice reverse layup from Hines. Hines with 8 points now. Josar with 11. For UVU, Davis, only player in double figures with 10. Brendan Evans up top. Won't go. Nice tip out by the combo of Mitch Brunel and Jack Nelson. Marcel Davis now with 12 points.
Yeah, he's really set the tone offensively with his shooting and his scoring and with his penetration and assists. He's been the leader tonight. Got the Wolverines going on the right foot.
That time, Josar lucky not to get hurt on slide down. Turnover.
And this is an offense we've seen UVU run before. You see Mitch and Dante in the corner and kind of a triangle set between Marcel, Zach, and Brendan working inside the paint. Great offensive rebound from Zach.
Can't get the follow to go. Rebound comes down to Pan American. All the way, nice layup. Watson.
And those transition baskets, see how many points that is. Fast break. I think it's only 4 fast break points for the Bronx, but they've had a lot more chances, at least out in transition.
Watson being called for a little push foul on that one. That's going to be his 3rd personal. If that one holds, we'll double check it when we get back from this timeout. 42-37, Wolverines out in front.
It all comes down to this. 14 teams battle their way through the bracket for a chance to punch their ticket to the big dance. Be a part of the madness in Las Vegas, March 11th to 14th. Go all in and witness who goes home a champion at Orleans Arena. The 2015 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. Tickets on sale now at OrleansArena.com.
I don't think of myself as just an undergrad. Okay, so I'm a sophomore, but I'm at UVU where it's all about engaged learning. Leading a project on DNA research, I don't have to wait for grad school to get this kind of experience. As a UVU student, I guess you could say engaged learning is in my DNA.
Well, the good news, if you're a Pan American fan, they are shooting 100% here in the second half. The bad news is they've only been able to put up 5 shots. They've hit all 5. Wolverines are 4 out of 10. I think they'd probably like to shoot a lower percentage, but a lot more shots.
Yeah, absolutely. I think UVU has dominated the boards, at least statistically. 11 defensive rebounds, not that many, but they've only given up, UVU has only given up 2 offensive rebounds. No second chance points for the Bronx. Wolverines have 8 offensive rebounds, and they've turned that into 9 second chance points. So they can continue that. They'll be able to keep the Bronx from getting some second opportunities.
That indeed was Elijah Watson's third personal foul before that break. Zach Nelson for three, bottom.
Well done play, well executed coming out of the timeout there. A lot of really good screen set. Zach coming out much needed three for him.
9 points, 4 rebounds for the sophomore. UVU matches their biggest lead of the game. Shaquille Hines backs in against Nelson. Zach tied him up, took it away. Pushes it up court to Brunel. There's a couple of roommates running the break. UVU's biggest lead.
Right back at him.
Didn't last long.
Yeah, right back at him comes Shaquille Hines. But, that was perfect defense from Zach on the previous possession. Hand straight up in the air, saw the ball out in front of him, swiped it away, and a really nice bounce pass finish to Mitch. Here's that triangle offense again, Jim. 2 guys in the corner. Marcel, Zach, and Brendan kind of working around inside.
Marcel Davis finds his way to the hole. He's got 14 points. Only Wolverine in double figures. Pan American's got 2 of them. Josar with 11, Hines with 10.
And that time was kind of an isolation play where Dante cleared out from his wing.
Josar misses inside. Battle for the rebound. They're calling a foul?
Yeah, they're going to call Brendan with the foul on Josar, and Josar's a little shaken up. Seems to be grabbing his left ankle.
Well, he's already got his right knee bandaged up pretty well. Yeah, he's limping. Non-shooting foul.
Yeah, you see the replay here. Josar driving baseline.
Can't quite see his
Maybe
foot.
right there it was where he kind of twisted it. Maybe it's when Marcel comes in on him, potentially there.
Yeah.
Didn't look like he twisted it when he came down,
right.
But I think it was when Marcel was diving for the ball that he landed on him. But they called the foul on Brendan, I think, right? Yeah, they called it on 20.
Josar stays out there, limp and all. Only 5 players have scored for Pan American, all 5 of their starters. Boga rejected. Dante Williams, little floater, won't go. Rebound, Kamasa. Mo McDonald, redshirt freshman from McAllen, into the game for Texas Pan American. Collision inside. Foul's going to go against UVU.
And what's hurt the Wolverines is you're going to see the replay here.
Dante Williams.
Yeah, Shaquille Hines just had way too much space out there. What hurt him on the previous possession when they scored was not getting back in transition. Kind of the same problem there. On the initial break, Shaquille Hines was wide open on the wing and never a proper rotation for whoever needed to be out on him. So the Wolverines, when they score, when they get those transition opportunities, they got to make sure that they get back and match up. It's a communication. It's, in those transition defenses, it's all about communication. You just got to talk, match up.
Second foul against Dante Williams. He takes a seat, replaced by Zach Nelson. Jumper outside, Hines misses. Brunel with the rebound for Utah Valley. Marcel Davis pushing it. Wow, nice play.
Really nice play from Marcel. Get a timeout here from the Bronx.
Got 16 points.
And he's pushed it too. He's pushed the action, but he hasn't done it out of control. He's done it with intelligence, and he's been able to convert and score. And Coach Hipsher pretty close getting to a pretty close technical foul here.
Coach Dan Hipsher really protesting something. Did he get lit up for a technical?
No, I don't think he got a technical foul.
(51-39). Now, Dan Hipsher, he's a big dude. And a lot of officials can be a little intimidated
There's
by
a technical foul, Jim.
Wow.
Did you see that?
Stare down.
Yeah, there's a technical foul.
Dan Hipsher called for the technical foul at the 11:41 mark here of the second half.
That was a very interesting interaction because you had the official come over. Coach Hipsher was mad at one of the officials who was reporting at the scorer's table. That official then came over and kind of stood there and stared at Coach Hipsher, and Coach Hipsher just stood right back and stared at him. So, and then the other official that was there called the technical.
Remember the old game where you stare at each other and who blinks first loses?
Well, they played. And
who blinks first gets a technical.
Yeah, unfortunately, the coach lost there because the official can call a technical.
He's not done talking to officials yet. Right here in front of us. I'm hoping the microphones don't pick up things that we shouldn't be hearing on broadcast. Dan Hipsher. Dante Williams' free throw at the other end is good. Well, that was
and that's
interesting.
Very interesting. And that's a big technical, too, because obviously Dante gets 2 free throws. The Wolverines just coming off the basket from Marcel. Chance for more points, and Dante converts. So
Dante Williams, the #1 free throw shooter in the WAC. Who else you going to put at the line for Utah Valley? 82% coming in here.
And then that counts as a team foul, too. So Pan America will get the ball. Coach Hipsher just said something about what if you don't have video on that?
You're still going to report it.
I'm not sure if he was talking about a play or if he was talking about, I mean, they're still staring at each other, Jim. You see Coach Hipsher right in front of us. He's still staring at that official, and they're looking back at each other.
The official at the bottom of your screen on the left side is the one he was staring at. I don't think they'll be going out for dinner tonight.
Nope.
And probably a good thing for both of them. 53-40 or 53-39 rather. UVU's biggest lead.
What a play there against the zone. A nice, perfect alley-oop pass from Zach Nelson. Mitch Brunel with the strong finish. Some pretty good screening underneath to get Mitch freed up. Run to perfection there, and the Wolverines have done a great job of answering the run that Pan Am had and stretched this game out.
Brunel into double figures with 10. Off the glass is Boga.
Yeah, that's a nice move. You know, Marcel does a nice job with those drives and finishes, and Boga looks to drive too. He's a lefty. Tough to defend that. Good finish. I think they're going to get 3 seconds here on Zach.
Zach Nelson creates the 8th turnover for Utah Valley, and that does bring us to immediate timeout. 10.5 minutes to play here in Orem. Don't go away. This one's getting interesting, isn't it?
You are watching UVU TV.
I hate math. I can't count how many times I've heard people say that. And as a math teacher, I take it personally. So, while working on my master's at UVU, I developed ways to help kids not hate math. Does engaged learning make a difference? You do the math.
Marcel Davis closing in on a season high. He's got 16 points tonight. His season high is 20. In fact, his career high is only 21. He's still got 10 and a half minutes to get 5 more points to tie that thing. But Mitch Brunel, what a slam that was on the play.
Yeah, it was perfect execution, and I think the reason that the Wolverines have been able to do so well on offense is because their offensive sets have been run so well. And that was a specific drawn-up play against the zone defense where you try and get a guy coming underneath and setting the screen. I didn't quite see who it was that set it, but you get a guy coming in underneath setting a screen on the center man against the zone and lob it up behind him. And nice pass from Zach and an even better finish from Mitch.
Ball slapped away by Utah Valley. We'll say it belongs to Pan American.
Crowd seems to think otherwise.
I think they're just tired of staring at the big guy.
I think they are.
Or getting stared at by the big guy. There's always a game within the game when it comes to coaches and officials. And two of the best on the floor tonight, Dan Hipscher and Dick Hunziker, are playing that game. 10 minutes left. Fade away, bounces all over the place, finally drops through good for Shaquille Hines.
And that was good defense too. I think it was Brendan Evans did a nice job of stopping the initial attempt, but just open over there.
Hines with 12 points, Josar 11, Boga 10. Each team with 3 players in double figures. Again, only 5 players have scored for Texas Pan American. All 5 starters. Bottom.
Another perfectly executed play, and you're going to get Coach Hipscher with a timeout here. But we're really seeing some nice things done on offense from UVU. Their sets are being run almost as well as I've seen them run all year long. That time Mitch with a perfectly executed baseline jumper.
Well, 12 points Hines, 11 Josar, 10 Boga, 6 Watson, 4 Kamasa. They're the 5 starters. They're the 5 Broncs who have scored. Meanwhile, 7 players have scored for Utah Valley, led by Marcel Davis, 16. Mitch Brunel now with 12. Dante Williams, 10. 9 for Zach Nelson. 6 for Jaden Jackson. 2 each for Brendan Evans and Dayon Goodman.
We see what can happen, Jim, when the Wolverines can score and can shoot the ball, like we know they can. They struggle at times. I mean, you look at their overall percentage right now, 51% from the field. They average 40% on the year. Right now they're 40% from the three-point line. They average 29 on the season, and they're 87% from the free throw line, and on the year 70%. So well above their averages, and that's when their offense looks easy.
Wide open jumper is missed by Shaquille Hines. I think he's better in traffic.
Yeah, and there was a mix-up there. 2 players went to 1. I think they were more concerned with Janari Josar coming off of a double screen and left Hines wide open.
Brendan Evans recovers. Under 10 seconds on the shot clock. Davis will take it around, tried to take it around. Who is that? Joaquin Cache. I probably just butchered Joaquin's last name. Redshirt sophomore from Mission, Texas.
Just a simple high pick and roll there, getting Marcel the ball.
Just a Cache. That's what I'm going with, sorry. Coming up on 8.5 to play. Wolverines out by 14. Both teams coming off very tough losses Thursday night. Brunel for 3 this time.
Got it.
Oh my goodness. 60-43. Brunel now with 15 points.
Just tell when that one came off that it was going to go right back down. Watch Mitch hustling too, chasing around Janari Josar. Mitch is going to be tired after this one because he's put together a heck of an effort as he get the turnover there. And Mitch was on the double team there. He's been chasing Josar all over the place.
Just under 8 minutes left. Wolverines out in front by 17 points now. Both teams shooting exactly 61% here in the second half. Overall, it's not that much difference. Utah Valley 52% shooting, Pan American 51% shooting. It's just Utah Valley's taking more shots, 42-35.
And what I like too is that in the first half, the Wolverines had 8 assists, 7 turnovers. Right now, they've got 14 assists and only 8 turnovers. So when you protect the ball, you give yourself more chances, and only 1 turnover since half, and it's what's driven them, I think.
This is Utah Valley's largest lead of the game. Texas Pan American has led. That was in the first half by 4 at the 6:08 mark. And if you joined us late, UVU led at halftime 33-25. 6 lead changes, and all of them took place in that first half. Brendan Evans, nice move.
Yeah, another well-executed play. I think that was, I don't know if they had the plan to run that, but Brendan Evans being guarded by Joaquin Pistacache in the middle there, and you get a timeout from the Bronx, but an isolation play to get Brendan posted up. When Zach got that ball at the high post 3-point area, Brendan was working inside. A simple duck-in play, he was able to seal Joaquin behind him and did a nice job of finishing it.
Brendan Evans, a senior from Sonora, California, started many of the games early in the season. And then Coach Dick Hunsaker electing to go with Boston Gubler and/or Darius Hamilton for a few games. Brendan sees a lot of time off the bench. He is as physical a player as UVU has.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he is their most physical interior player. I think Boston's shown some things too, but I think Brendan is by far the most physical player inside. You have to have that, Jim. He's not dirty physical in any way. He's good at finding his right. He's good at being in the right position at the right time. And he uses his physicality. He's learned how to play that way.
Foul against UVU, and guess who?
Right on the mark there.
Brendan Evans picks up foul number 2, third team foul this half.
Another one on Brendan.
Well, that time Brendan just got caught out of position because Everett Osborne was cutting across. And Brendan was about to fall down, and I think just grabbed Osborne to stay up.
We were just talking about how clean he plays and picks up 2 quick fouls. That's the jinx right there, Jim, in full effect.
The Jimmy Mack jinx, alive and well.
I guess that was more me talking about it, so it might be that one might be under my name.
Perfect. Matt Peterson, for those of you keeping score at home. 7 minutes left here in Orem.
Wow. What a finish there from Marcel. He took the ball on the wing away from the screen. Had to put a lot of spin on the ball to get that up. What a finish left-handed from Marcel.
It's a 17-4 run. Second half shooting for Pan American, 8 of 15. For UVU, 13 of 20. UVU trying to burn a little clock there with 6.5 to play. Dante Williams for 3, no.
Another foul on Brendan.
Well, his minutes are going down simply because that's 3 fouls in probably 90 seconds for Brendan Evans?
Well, in that time, we mentioned a little bit earlier in the game, there was the illegal screen that was set by Andreas Bigum as he was setting kind of the last leg of a double screen. It's exactly what happened to Brendan there. He was setting the last leg of the double screen for Dante to come off of it and just wasn't set.
Andreas Bigum gives back over for the 3 from Josar. And the Wolverines have it on the air ball.
And that play that they were running for Dante, I used to love to run that play because you get...
Same play?
Yeah. I used to love, that was my favorite play because you get 2 down screens and a whole lot of space on the opposite side of the floor. And you see it work a lot. Dante was wide open there. Just the foul killed the play.
Give and go doesn't work. Pan American coming back the other way. Wide open in the corner momentarily. Instead, the drive from Hobbs is good.
The Wolverines taking a lot of time on offense here, obviously trying to work the clock. Can't let themselves get lulled into that same type of pace of play on defense too. Pan Am is going to put together one last run here.
Nice spin move, Marcel Davis, and one. Marcel Davis, 20 points. Ties his season high that he had against Grand Canyon. He's going to be at the free throw line looking to tie his career high.
Yeah, look at that spin move. Protected the ball through 2 arms there. Oh, Marcel playing great ball tonight.
He is the quietest kid. 6'1" junior from American Fork, Utah. Transferred from Utah State. All right, there's the jinx back. I jinxed him. Sorry. He's sitting at 20 with 4:45 left to play here. Watson draws the foul. Brendan Evans has just fouled out of this game. Brendan Evans, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 5 fouls, making 2 of 3 shots.
That's the most amazing thing, Jim. We were just talking about him and physicality and
that is definitely that is on you. It's got to be on you.
It's got to be.
3rd time this season Brendan Evans has fouled out of a game. Of the 6 UVU players who have fouled out this season, 3 times it's been Brendan. That's how physical he plays.
It's just his nature.
That's why Dick Hunsaker loves him inside.
I think you have to have the physicality. You cannot be non-physical if you're an inside player. We've talked so much too about the size difference that when Brendan has to go against players that are larger or taller than him, he makes up for it with his physicality. Just 4 quick fouls.
Replaced by Jaden Jackson in the lineup. Back over to Josar. Very quiet night for Josar. Oh, excuse me, that was Bigum. Lead pass. Dante Williams finishes it off. Watson misses. Zach Nelson with a rebound. His 7th. .345 left here. UVU is led by as many as 23. That's what it is right now. Dante Williams misses this 3. Bigham with the rebound. Little collision out here. McDonald goes down hard. Will bring us to our final media timeout of this game. Wolverines up big time over Texas Pan American.
You are watching UVU TV.
Hey UVU sports fans, don't miss the next exciting broadcast of Wolverine basketball on UVU TV. When UVU takes on the New Mexico State Aggies February 19th at 7 p.m. Experience the fun at the UCCU Center with other UVU fans or watch it live on UVU TV. Go to uvu.edu/UVU TV.
I had an idea. Lots of people have ideas. But engaged learning helped me develop my idea and make it real. And now with sales over $1 million, best assignment ever.
.3-point lead for Utah Valley. Starting to flex a little muscle. They've out-rebounded them 28-18. They've outshot them from three-point range 9-4. For the game, 55% shooting for UVU, 46 for Pan American. On and on it goes.
You know, Jim, looking at the halftime statistics compared to where we are right now, Wolverines have only made 2 more three-pointers. They've only shot five attempts since the since halftime. They've shot 5 more free throws. But you compare what they had at halftime. They had 4 points in the paint. Right now they have 24 points in the paint. So they've turned the game more to being at the basket or near the basket type of game. And a lot of it's come. Mitch had the dunk. Marcel's had a lot of open layups. Dante's had some layups. So when you can get those easy baskets, that's really where you can lighten up or lighten the pressure on your offense a little bit.
Right now it's a 21-6 run. That technical foul called to Coach Dan Hipsher back when it was 52-39 in favor of UVU. Since that time, they've only scored 6 points.
Yeah, they've really gone cold. Wolverine defense has been pretty good.
Deion Goodman rather with it. I'd like to see Marcel Davis get another basket in a career high. He's sitting at 20 points now. Gotta wonder how long the starters are going to be out there. Jaden Jackson up top buries the long 2.
And you hope this is the game that Jaden gains a lot of confidence, Jim, because he shot it really well tonight. You mentioned how he can be a big impact player off the bench.
Inside, Osborne fails to convert. Fouled by Deion Goodman. Third foul against Goodman, by the way. Dante Williams with 3, Goodman with 3. Evans has already fouled out. We got him twice.
Yep.
They only called 1. From the free throw line, Texas Pan American 3 out of 9, and Marcel Davis, Mitch Bernil go to the bench. I don't think they're going to be back, replaced by Eli Robinson, Alex Carr. Marcel Davis ties a season high with 20 points.
Yeah, those two clearly led the way. You know, for UVU, you had Marcel with the 20, Mitch with the 15, Dante with the 12. But, you know, I look at the two-way play of Mitch because, you know, he was guarding Janari Jassar most of the night and held him below. You know, and it wasn't just him, obviously team effort, but held him below his season average by 7 points. And, you know, Jassar hit those 2 threes early on in the second half. Otherwise, it was, you know, a quiet night for him. Good pass there. Jaden Jackson had the jump shot, but unselfish play right inside to Zach.
Zach Nelson into double figures with 11 and missing inside is Bigham. Under 2 minutes left. UVU is going to get out of here with the victory to improve to 4-7 in the WAC. Pan American will fall to 3-9. UVU still in the hunt for, well, right now, if the tournament started tomorrow, they'd have the number 5 seed. These two teams met in the opening round last year of the Western Athletic Conference Tournament. UVU shot a blistering 70% for the entire game. Alex Carr being called for the foul for UVU. Darius Hamilton comes in. Zach Nelson goes to the bench. Zach, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists tonight for Zach Nelson.
Yeah. All-around good game from Zach, too. That's quite the stat line. You know, 11 points, just as you said, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Leading assist man for UVU.
Well, 6 assists, a season high. 1 short of tying his career high. Here comes Corey Cardwell, walk-on from Riverton, Utah. Also listed as a senior. (72-47). Wolverines just burning clock with a minute left. Still 10 seconds on the shot clock. So they'll have to put up a shot. Jaden Jackson's got it way outside. He'll launch an NBA 3. Back the other way. McDonald can't get it down. UVU picks up the foul. Corey Cardwell. Coach Dick Hunsaker pretty upset.
Yeah, I thought that was the charge.
Great coaches continue to coach regardless of the situation, regardless of time. They just keep at it.
It's to the end with Coach. I mean, it's that way in practice too, Jim. It's not just here during the games. It's coaching that way for every single second that you're on the court. No matter what time of the year either.
Eli has it slapped away. Collision there in the backcourt between Eli and Mo McDonald. Eli Robinson goes sprawling. He's okay. It'll be Pan Am's ball with final 29 seconds of this thing. UVU, very impressive win at home where they are 7-5 now this season. Their 10th win of the season. Pan American just running out the clock. In the lane, and what else? Another foul. You know, I knew we jinxed them when we talked early about the lack of fouls. Now we've had 28 fouls called in this game. After we played, what, the first 10 minutes? I had 1, I think. So with 5 seconds left, Isaiah Hobbs will be at the free throw line. Got them both. $49 points tonight for Pan American. It's not their lowest point total of the season, but for UVU, it's their second lowest opponent score. They allowed 47 against Idaho State, now 49 against Texas Pan American. They win it. Final score, 72-49. Now, the most important thing, of course, is the WAC standings, because both these teams struggling really on the season, not having the type of season they both wanted. 10-16 for the Wolverines, 9-19 for the Broncs of Pan American. This game basically second half all UVU.
Yeah, it was. You know, we see a lot of highlights. Marcel drove a lot of the action. Zach was involved. And here was the nice pass ahead and layup to Mitch. Good things all around, Jim. I mean, we take a look at this. I think it was a total team effort on offense, on defense. There's that lob play against the zone to Mitch from Zach. Nice finish. Ton of good things to take away from this game. You know, and you mentioned it in the very beginning. You know, how are they going to bounce back from Thursday's tough loss? Well, they bounced back as well as they could, and you know, they played really well. I just hope that they are able to build on this. You know, I hope that they're able to take this and learn from it. And you know, the season is just about over, but you know, anything can go in that WAC tournament.
Yeah, here's the current standings, although let me take a quick look in on the score for New Mexico State. They're up by 20 with under 4 minutes to play against Grand Canyon. So it looks like New Mexico State is going to move to 11-1, Grand Canyon to go to 7-4. And if that does happen, New Mexico State has clinched the regular season title in the WAC, and they will obviously have the #1 seed, which they clinched Thursday night. Meanwhile, you look at Utah Valley now, Matt. They're 4-7 in the standings. That's not correct. It's supposed to be 4-7. Texas Pan American is now 3-9.
Yeah.
So with UVU just a game behind Seattle, a couple of games behind Bakersfield, it's still wide open as to where UVU is going to be seated.
Well, and that's who they play, right? I mean, they play coming here, right? Last game, Bakersfield, and then they go on the road for Chicago State, and they go on the road. I mean, they could end up 500 in conference if they pick up those 2 wins on the road, and then coming here. So I said the season is long. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that happens during the season. You can never stop playing because you never know what can happen, and the Wolverines can finish it 7-7. Build that momentum going into the conference tournament, and it's what we want to see. We hope we see that. They've got to play well in their next road game.
That's for sure. That comes up Thursday and Saturday next week. Kansas City Thursday, Chicago on Saturday, and then 2 weeks from tonight at home against Bakersfield, and then 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from tonight is the championship game in the WAC, and boy, wouldn't it be nice to have UVU in that championship game.
That would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
It would be a lot of fun to see, and just because you win the regular season, as the Wolverines saw last year, that doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to win the tournament. So,
that's for sure.
A lot of basketball left, and I love what we saw tonight. Great effort from the team all around.
Hey, thanks for being with us tonight. Wolverines win this one 72-49. Telecast produced by students from the UVU Digital Media Department. Nice job tonight, gentlemen and ladies. This has been a copyrighted production of Utah Valley University and the Wolverine Sports Network. For Matt Peterson and our entire UVU TV production crew, I'm Jim McCullough saying good night from Orem, Utah.
You are watching UVU TV.